Over the last several days, I've hauled a bunch of bales out of this field, and as you guys can see, the field is almost bare now. I think I've got 2 or maybe 2 and a partial loads left to do. So I need to get that done today. I need to finish up my round bale feeder. All the welding is done, but I still need to add some boards to the bottom. There's a couple of other loose ends that need to be tied up today. And then of course, there's all the things that we're gonna have to do that we don't even know about yet. That's what's going on today on Farmer Tyler Ranch. So you know that we're hauling hay today, but you might be wondering, why is there a mini bike on the trailer? Well, the reason that I bring the mini bike out here with me to the field is so that I can drive the truck and trailer and park it in the field where I'm gonna be gathering bales. And then I can hop on the mini bike, run back up to my parents' shop and get my dad's tractor and then bring it out here, load the bales. And then at the end of the day, when I'm done with the tractor, I can drive it back to the shop and drive my mini bike back to the truck, wherever it might be. Well, due to some poor planning or bad strategy on my part, the rest of my bales are all up there in the corner, so I'm gonna have to drive the truck up there and then walk back to the tractor, because while that does take some time, it doesn't take as much time as running these bales all the way back to the trailer. Oh, you gonna drive for me? No? Okay. Okay, that should be a little bit better. So if you guys are wondering, why am I showing you hauling hay out of the field again? Because it was just maybe a couple weeks ago that I had a video completely dedicated to this topic. And the reason is, one, because we're gonna finish today. I mean, assuming there's no equipment breakdowns, which could very well happen. But two, I'm faced with a bit of a different challenge on these loads, because now I've got 2 different sized bales that I need to load onto the trailer. See, typically for me, I make 4-foot round bales, and that's what I use on my cows back at the barn. And then all the hay that I'm gonna sell, I make 6-foot round bales. The market seems to prefer the bigger bales, and I actually prefer making them because you can bale a lot faster that way, because you're not stopping to wrap the bales all the time. What happened this year though is I decided that I really didn't want to be caught short of hay 2 years in a row. So I'm keeping 9 of the big 6-footers. This is a bit of a challenge because I've never hauled them on this trailer, for one, and for two, I'm not even sure if my 8N can pick them up. In fact, I kind of feel like it probably can't, or if it can, it's going to be almost impossible to steer. So the first thing that we need to do is get a couple of these 6-footers up there, get them home, and then we'll see if the 8N can handle it. Well, these 6-foot bales really dwarf the 4s. I mean, it's only 2 feet, but man, when you look at it, you can tell. The 6-foot bales are about twice as heavy as the 4-footers, and I'm really unsure. I don't know if the 8N's gonna do it or not. That's a heck of a load for that tractor. So that's why I've got these 2 just here on the back. If the 8N can't get them, then we can just roll them off, and then, like I say, I can make a 3-point spear and I can shuttle them around with the New Holland. Let's hit the road. I've got all the small bales off of this side of the trailer. The only one that's left is a big 6-footer. So here's a moment of truth. Wow, I'm impressed. I didn't think it would do it. I mean, I thought it might pick them up, but I thought it'd be almost impossible to drive once you had it off the ground. And honestly, it didn't even feel like the hydraulics were straining that bad, but you could definitely tell when you're steering that thing. It was tough. You could see I wasn't turning sharp, partly because it was really hard and partly because I just didn't want to put any more additional stress on any of the front end or the steering components. I'm definitely not making 6-footers from now on. That's still just going to be for retail, but it is nice to know that it can handle it if it has to. All right, I'm going to get the rest of these unloaded and we'll go back out to the field and get the rest of them. Finally down to the last 2. Well, there you have it. There should be about 306 bales here in total. Every single one of them unloaded and stacked by that old 8N. It certainly feels good to have this done. This is something that's kind of been weighing on my mind here these last couple of weeks. And I might do something different with this little stack that kind of protrudes out of the barn. I might take these down and add them to the single rows, or the slugs I call them, that I've got going over here. Just because, from what I understand, when they're stacked up like this, I probably have to tarp them, because the water is going to work its way into those crevices, or those corners I should say, and it'll just kind of hold there and mold. If I have them out in a single row, then the bales will shed the water better, and if it does rain on them, it's not going to be that big of a deal. I'm not really worried about this because we won't be getting any rain for quite a while, but it is something that I'll probably have to get done, you know, sooner than later. And while we're talking about the bales in the barn and all the bales that are outside, I know that someone is going to say, well, if you just, you know, turn the bales up on their end, then you would be able to fit a lot more in the barn. Well, there's a reason why I don't do that. And the reason is that in order to get 4 tiers high in this barn, that top tier is like everything that tractor has to put those bales up there. In fact, usually you kind of got to jam them up there and then just sort of back off and slide them off. You don't like set them in there nicely. So what I'm getting at is that if I do 2 rows on the bottom with the bales on their side, then I won't be able to fit a 4th row, because the way the bales are stacked now, like the 2nd row kind of sits down in the 1st row, the 3rd row sits down in the 2nd row. So 3 rows of bales on their side are shorter than 3 rows of bales up on their end. So not only would I not be able to reach a top row with the tractor, but it actually wouldn't even fit because of the height of the barn. In fact, the way it is now, I just could barely squeeze that top row in there. So if I did go up on end, I could do that, but I would end up gaining 3 additional rows. Well, I've got those 3 rows that on top of there now, and I actually like stacking the hay on its side better like this, because I feel like the stack is a little bit more secure. If the bales were up on their side, it just seems like they would be more tippy. So that's why I do it that way. I considered going on their side like that, but you know, I ended up not doing it for the reasons that I just told you. All right, let's move on to the next thing. Well, it's after dinner now. Surprise, surprise, didn't get as far as I was hoping to get today, but that's all right. I think I've still got enough time before it gets too dark to get these boards put up on the feeder, so we're gonna try to get that done. Well, it got dark on me. I don't know if you're going to be able to see my face at all right now, but I didn't quite get finished. Let me get my flashlight out and I'll show you what I do have done. So 2 out of 3 sides finished, but like I say, it's just getting too dark. I can't see my tools anymore. And yeah, everything's just kind of becoming a pain. And the mosquitoes are coming out, so that's not fun either. So I didn't get as much done today as I had planned, but you know, I'm used to that. It happens all the time. So we'll just have to come back and finish this tomorrow. All right, it's the next day now. The sun is out. I can actually see what I'm doing again, which is, it's nice. I think it looks pretty good, but obviously it's not finished yet. So let's get this thing put together. I seem to never have a pencil when I need it, but I've always got a knife. I always hang these boards up from the top to the bottom, and the reason for that is that I don't mind if there's a little bit of a gap between the board and the ground, but I want there to be no gap between the board and the pipe. This is starting to look like something, and you know, I keep thinking, okay, it's done, it's done, it's done. Well, every time I get to that point, then I notice another little thing that I kind of want to change. And in this case, it's not anything huge. I just want to add some concrete right here. There's this kind of, I don't know what you call a trench here. And I have a feeling that when the cattle are at the feeder eating, that this could become a problem for them. So it'd be nice to just go ahead and concrete that. I've been wanting to do that for a while. And I think once that's done, then we'll be completely finished with this project. I got the concrete anchors cut off. I know a few people asked about that. That was just something that I didn't really think was important enough to put in the last build video, but since you guys asked, I'm just letting you know, yes, they're cut off. So yeah, I think that we're pretty much done with this. I mean, I could use it the way it is right now, but just a few little finishing touches. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys, and I hope I'll see you again on Farmer Tyler Ranch.